Hi, welcome back to my channel, the place where I apparently talk about obscure display technologies all the time. Today we will be reviewing Varjo Aero, which is a high-end virtual reality headset. The headset has been made by a company called Varjo, which is a Finnish company that is specialized in high-resolution VR and AR headsets. I'm coming from Valve Index and I already had the base stations and the Knuckles controllers, so I did not have to buy them, so I got the VR setup cheaper, kind of. I have been using the headset about 4 months now, so I have pretty much found out the good and the bad that there is to say about the headset. Varjo refused to send me one for review, so I bought one and reviewed it. This is, let's say, an honest review. My first impressions about the device is that the headset has a new car smell when you take it out of the package. All the materials are like super light and thin. The build quality on this thing is really high, but it's not like unnecessarily high, meaning that you would pay extra for stuff that you don't need, like edgier edges and rounder corners. It is super high quality, but it's not like too high quality when it just adds extra cost for diminishing returns. The adjustable forehead strap here is definitely the way to go, and this should be like standard for all VR headsets. This is how it's supposed to be done. The image here is actually high resolution enough. This can be used as a screen replacement, so you can actually work with this thing. Technically, you can use Valve Index to operate Windows in like regular computer way, but it's kind of a hassle. This I can use as a dual monitor replacement. This thing can fit my eyeglasses without an issue, they don't touch the lenses, and the whole assembly is really light and comfortable. You can have audio output and mic input on the little 3.5mm headphone jack in the side, but that's all she wrote. There are no headphones in this thing. It's lacking an audio solution. It comes with its own headphones, but we're gonna talk about them a bit later. Another complaint would be the price. This is a high-end premium product with a premium price tag. Currently this costs 2,500 euros about in Finland, including taxes. This thing is easily the most comfortable VR headset I have ever used. And this is my audio solution that I have come up with, that I will just use wired headphones with it. It's a bit of a hassle to set up, and currently I'm not having the mic here. There's a little holder I have glued there that the mic will plug into the plug here. The fuck is the cat doing? The headset requires its own software called Varjo Base. It's quite simple application to use and work with. It has an analytics window that shows what the headset is seeing, and then there's the nice eye tracking camera view that you can look how pretty your eyes are in infrared. What I find interesting about the Varjo Base is that you can enable the gaze dot there, which draws this cyan kind of dot wherever you are looking at. So if I, for example, look myself in the eye, I can see the dot is roughly there. And of course the privacy settings are there. You can actually turn off the eye camera so that external programs don't have access to the eye camera feed, which is really nice addition. In order to run games, you will need Varjo Base running on the background. I recommend closing the analytics window from here because it's kind of a resource hog, and same goes for the eye camera, so this is what you will see when you're running your game in Steam. The first time you plug this thing in, it required a software update, and it failed a couple of times, but after some trial and error I managed to somehow make it go through. I have no idea what I did to make it work, but eventually it worked fine. I tested the headset to work just fine with the RDX 2080 and RDX 3090. I upgraded to get a bit more bang for my buck as I'm running streaming software and whatnot, but if you're gaming with the headset without needing the additional overhead, the RTX 2080 should be just fine for it. The headset connects to your computer with this little connection link box thing, like most of the headsets do. It uses a DisplayPort for video, and it has a robust USB Type-A 3.0 connector, which is nice that it's really sturdy and universal connector. The Varjo system doesn't use any obscure and proprietary connectors, which I really like. I can get the replacement cables and whatnot from online retailer instead of having to rely on the manufacturer to manufacture those. The cable is the most common failure mode for the VR headsets. I would like the manufacturer to offer a replacement cable in case I break one out of warranty. For example, Valve has added a replacement tether for Valve Index on their online store, and you can go buy one. Granted, it's really expensive cable, but you can get one. Varjo doesn't have one on their online store, but I reached out to them and they told They told me that you can get one through their support, but currently they don't sell them in their web store. Focus. The headset uses standard active USB-C cable as a tether, which I like as these things are easier to get than alternative by Valve. I have no idea what connector this is. Here's the tether by Valve Index, and here's the Varjo Aero. One is standard, one is not. The tether itself is quite good quality to me, and I have no complaints about it. It's easy to replace if you need one, and they are easily available. The most interesting part about this headset is definitely the optical design of it. It has variable resolution aspheric lenses, which mean that the resolution differs from the spot where you're looking at. So the way this thing is designed is that the pixel density is higher in the middle of your field of view, and if you look into the side, then the pixel density is less there. Achieved by the lens design, which distorts the image in one way, and then the image that is actually projected on the panel is distorted the other way. So yeah, science, yay. I can definitely tell that some math went into designing that. As a nerd, I think this is really clever and excellent lens design for a VR headset. It optimizes cost and compute power for the result you're gonna get. And because the Varjo Aero doesn't have Fresnel lenses, there are no guard rays. And this thing is really comfortable to use in, like, for example, flight simulator kind of thing where the guard rays can be really distracting. These lenses are not perfect. They have some issues with the chromatic aberration, which means that the lens design causes a bit of color fringing. But I noticed that that's something that if I play for half an hour, I have no idea after 5 minutes. So human eye is much more sensitive to luminance issues, aka the brightness variation, than chrominance issues, which are the color variations. So I'd happily take the color issues here any day compared to the guard rays, for example. I have also noticed that more glass you add between you and the screen, the more color fringing there is. My eyeglass of choice is the most broke-ass one. These don't have any anti-reflective coatings and whatnot, and these are quite a thick piece of glass, so these make the color fringing worse. I have tried to play with the contact lenses, and the color fringing is very much lower in that way. The Varjo Aero is actually sharp enough that, well, me playing with it using contact lenses has actually made me to consider laser eye surgery, so I can use it without glasses or contact lenses. It takes me like half an hour to put contact lenses in and another one to get them out, so it's not worth it for me. The headset uses 2 mini LED backlit LCD panels, and they have a resolution of 2880 x 2720 pixels per eye with the maximum brightness of 150 nits. According to Varjo, the screens are color calibrated to 99% of sRGB, so this thing should be color accurate for your color accurate VR work. The panels have only 90 Hz refresh rate, which is not the best. You can overclock Valve Index 244, which is nice for Beat Saber, but with the resolutions that this headset runs at, you would need a super beefy computer to make that happen. 90 Hz is good enough, and I have noticed that my RTX 3090 has issues to maintain even that for more demanding scenes. Because the headset uses LCD technology, there is minimal to no screen burn-in, and the color drift is expected to be non-existent. This info could be helpful, for example, VR arcades that run the same game from day to day and year to year, and the heads-up display units and whatnot should not burn into the display, unlike some OLED headsets. The headset has very high and variable pixel density. It has almost zero screen door effect, and the screen technology should be quite long-lived. Flip side, it requires quite a lot of horsepower from your computer, and it only has 90 Hz refresh. rate. To reduce the overhead of rendering, the Varjo uses clever technique called Foveated rendering. It combines the eye tracking camera from the headset to the rendering in such a way that if you look at an object, it renders that in full resolution, and the stuff that happens around it is rendered in with less resolution, so you will get more frames per second. I have not noticed loss of quality, but once I started paying attention to it, I could see the software in action. You can see some fuzzy edges on your side vision. If you set the resolution quality here a bit higher, you can't tell whether the foveated rendering is on or off. I would have liked to know before buying this thing is there's a red-blue shift on the headset. There are two panels inside the screen. I think the other one has been installed backwards in order for some easier cable management or something, which causes the subpixel layout not to be RGB, rather than it would be mirror BGR. And this causes a physical shift where the red and blue pixels are, and it will give you a kind of three-dimensional effect, if that makes any sense. This makes it look like the blue colors are a bit further away and the red colors jump towards you. So for example, I was playing Half-Life Alyx and I saw a security camera in a corner. They have a tiny red LED in front, and it just popped into my face. Like, I noticed that I paid attention to the corner because this issue. I would not have paid attention to the camera in the corner if the red LED would have looked somehow three-dimensional and the red color coming towards me. Some pictures look really cool with it, but I have found that it causes me to pay attention to things that are not really worth my attention in VR, let's say. I got a comment from Varjo that this is an issue they are aware of and they are working to fix. I'm not sure if it has a software fix as if it's a physical issue, but I have a hunch that it can be mitigated with some single processing magic. My biggest single complaint about the Varjo Aero is that it's missing the pass-through cameras. You will be tipping over some beers if you have one available. I would have appreciated one in here so I can maneuver around the play space. Currently, I just have to take the headset off and look around and do my thing and then put the headset back. And at that point, the eye calibration is required again here, and it measures your IPD and the eye tracking for the foveated rendering. If you want a theoretical maximum quality, you have to do the eye calibration from the side where you look at the dot that the headset gives you. And I find it annoying to redo the eye tracking calibration every time my cat is up to some shenanigans in here and I have to check what they're doing. You can turn off the eye tracking calibration requirement. The eye tracking in this thing is used to automatically set the IPD. So once you wear the headset, it will automatically calibrate the IPD and give you the number in the Varjo base, which is really helpful. It will also use the eye tracking to complain to you if the headset is worn in a wrong way, if it's tilted or too much up or down, or it doesn't see your eyes or whatever. It helps you to position the headset. The gaze dot can be enabled in Varjo base headset to see where the user is looking at. It's relatively accurate. If you need accurate data, you can do some even more strict calibration where you have to look at multiple points and then it will be even more accurate. And it's quite useful if you're doing some marketing study or something that you want to check what the user is paying attention to. But I think there are other cheaper solutions for that too, but not that work in VR. The eye tracking camera can take funny selfies and you can disable it in the settings. The eye tracking does not work plug and play in VR chat yet, but I haven't seen one project that would enable the eye tracking camera to be used to move the eye tracking data into your VR chat avatar so you can see where the other people are actually looking at. Social VR in mind, another complaint would be that this VR headset does not track other facial expressions. You can track the mouth or eyebrows or other corner of an eye or stuff like that. Not at least yet. Some of that could be enabled in a software update. Varjo, if you're listening, please make that happen. Social VR is a valid use case for this headset. How about the audio solution? The included audio solution of the Varjo Aero is just basic cheap bullet-style headphones that have a microphone in the cable and they plug to the side of the headset with a 4-pin headphone connector. Quality is such that I played like 2 songs of Beat Saber with them, and I put them into the box they came in and forgot they exist. So let me dig them out. The packaging quality is really good, by the way. This thing has like soft yet high density foam in here, and this package is built in such a way that if you want to carry the headset around in, for example, LAN party or something, you can put it back in here and get it in the destination in one piece. There are no unnecessary plastics in the packaging, which I like, except for the power adapter things. For the 2,000 euros you can get the cleaning cloth, which is nice. Mine is black and unbranded. If you compare that to the one that came with the Valve Index, this is almost magical. The headphones came in this kind of small box thing, and they're not here. Where the hell did I put the headphone? There we go, they were in my box of shame. Here's the included audio solution. It comes with a 4-pin headphone plug with the microphone in the cable. Then there is an earplug, and then there is another earplug. It's really short cable, so it's clearly designed for this headset. You don't need to have excess cable dangling around, but the drivers themselves, these feel and look really cheap, and these don't sound good at all. I would not recommend Bluetooth headphones due to the delay in the computer, and it kind of throws you off in VR. Especially if you're monitoring some audio, for example your own mic, you will hear an echo. If you want to get the headset just running, I would recommend to get like these kind of basic earbuds, like sports earbuds with the microphone in the cable and the 4-pin headphone connector. It will work just fine, even though the audio quality might not be comparable to like proper headphones. I would recommend against using noise cancelling headphones like these, because the headphone rests against the head strap here, which transfers some of the noise from the headset, as this thing contains a small fan to keep your face and the electronics cool. So currently for me this sounds like there's a lawnmower outside, but if I switch the headphones for something else that is not noise cancelling, the lawnmower effect is not as high. If you want the best experience with the headset, I would recommend really high-end earbud type of headphones that are connected to the headset via cable. Please note that the headset does not have output capability for really high impedance headphones. I tried installing the Valve Index's over-the-top ears balanced mode radiator speakers into this thing and powering them from the connector on the side, but it didn't have enough power to push them. So I suspect the headset could have some issues with the higher impedance headphones. As a daily driver now, I use 3.5mm TRRS male to dual 3.5mm TRS female splitter, so I can connect a microphone and headphones to the headset. Then I use a Rode SmartLav lavalier microphone that I have made a custom mount for the headset so that it doesn't hear my breathing. Then I use cable adapter to make the 3.6mm plugged headphones fit into the 3.5mm headphone plug in the adapter. And finally the Sennheiser HD650 headphones. It's kind of a rat's nest of wires and annoying to wear and take off, but it sounds awesome. I considered the Varjo's X3 headset, which is their highest end mixed reality headset, but it comes with a 1,500 euro yearly subscription that is mandatory, and that was a deal breaker for me. So if they can make a headset that has similar technology, not necessarily with that high end, that is definitely a step up from this one, which would have been appreciated. The quality, design and materials don't scream planned obsolescence to me. I expect the device to last for years to come, but VR gear is wearable technology, and it has to be looked through a bit different lens than other electronics, and by that I mean that wearable electronics wear down, and it will be just a matter of time before it breaks down, and it's all about how you handle the device, how long it will last, and how tightly you bend the cables and stuff like that. So handle it with care. The positives about the product is that the software is available in Finnish. The visual quality is excellent. There are basically no guard rays and screen door effect at all. The head strap design is really comfortable, and it's the way to go. The superior head strap design and comfort are definitely the key selling points of this thing. It uses the reliable lighthouse tracking, and it doesn't have any cameras outside the thing, so this is good for people who are afraid of having cameras at their home. It uses the standard 3.5mm TRRS audio jack, which means that they don't force you to pay extra for a bad audio solution and you can plug basically whatever you want into it. The RTX 2080 GPU was enough to run it, and I did not need to upgrade my computer. The eye tracking works well, and so does the Foveated rendering. The headset has enough space in here that you can wear medium-sized eyeglasses just fine. Varjo has the replacement face cushions available in their store, even though they're quite expensive. And I actually read through the Varjo's data security policy and their terms of service, and I did not find anything creepy in there. It doesn't come with a proper audio solution, but it doesn't make you pay for one. Also, it doesn't come with the controllers nor the lighthouses, so you have to buy those extra for the already expensive cost, unless you already have them like I did. Getting all that stuff with the headset would have pushed the cost maybe around 3,000 euros, which I could not have justified. But as an upgrade, yeah, it crossed the line for me. My biggest complaints about it are the lack of pass-through cameras, lack of microphone. The lenses have chromatic aberration. The red-blue shift of the screens is making highly saturated colors pop in like depth-wise. Included headphones are bad. The internal fan noise can be transferred through the strap. AMD graphics cards are currently not supported. You need rather beefy Nvidia card to run the Varjo Aero. During the installation process, I dislike that you need to create a Varjo account, and to submit the form you need to solve a Google's CAPTCHA, and that means that you cannot get this device working without telling Google that you own one. Varjo, please switch to some open source CAPTCHA solution on your sign up form. As a hardware hacker, I would have appreciated a USB port in this thing so I can put stuff like the Leap Motion controller in it. Now it's kind of a hassle to add an extra cable if you want to mount something USB related into this thing. And the last but not least is that the Tether cable itself is like super delicious to cats. I have no idea how the manufacturer could solve that, but keep an eye on that, okay? This thing is definitely a dream for a flight simmer, for example, but for games like Beat Saber I would probably still use Index as it has the higher frame rate. For flight simming, this thing is good as you can see all the gauges and needles without leaning in, which I found an issue on the Valve Index. But yeah, I have decided to keep the headset, and I would recommend it to any advanced VR users who have the money to burn. If you're looking for the best available consumer headset currently, I think this is it. VR industry has major issue with people's expectations in stuff. I remember being a bit disappointed when I got the Valve Index headset, and using Windows with it was still kind of a pain. But with this thing, this finally crosses that line. So this is what I expected Valve Index to be. This is my new daily driver, and I still have to find some nice earbuds, and I will probably be adding a wireless mod mic to it, so I have less audio tinkering with it. I would have liked to see Varjo's quad screen technology and some reasonable pass-through camera, so I can move around in the play space. If you have any questions about the device, feel free to write them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. This review is also available as an article on nerdaxic.com. I am nowadays also on Twitch, so if you want to follow me and me doing my stuff, I'll be sharing more of my projects on Twitch while I'm doing them. So if that's something that interests you, please give me a follow there. twitch.tv/nerdaxic. Other than that, please like and subscribe and all that shenanigans. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.